Good morning. This is KELOLAND on the go with all you need to know in news and weather as you start your day.
Residents in the town of Clark, South Dakota are in shock after Marlene Fladland was found dead in the front yard of her home on Tuesday.
Marlene's son Bowen is accused of killing her and has been charged with first and second-degree murder. Despite the tragedy, people throughout Clark remember Marlene as a kind and a loving neighbor.
She had two little grandkids that were always riding their bikes and stuff and everything by here. They were really nice little kids.
Court documents say that this was not the first time Bowen Fladland had assaulted his mother.
People in Flandreau are mourning the loss of a woman who went missing on Saturday and was last seen near the Big Sioux River.
This week, authorities in Moody County recovered her body. Her brother says he wants answers to what led up to her disappearance.
I just hope every aspect is investigated and every stone is turned over. Well, this is very out of character. Like I said, I spoke to her several times and she seemed like she was happy. So, I mean, it just doesn't seem like someone that was happy would do such a thing.
Following the recovery of her body, community members held a candlelight vigil in honor of her.
Following months of discussion by a task force, we're one step closer to having a new, more modern men's prison in South Dakota.
That's something Kelly Wasko, the Department of Corrections Secretary, has been a big advocate for. The task force is recommending to the state legislature that a $650 million facility with 1,500 beds be built in northeastern Sioux Falls.
Wasko says she's optimistic about that plan, but they might have to make some design changes to meet the dollar amount.
My greatest interests are getting a new institution so that the folks standing behind me can come in and be safe and have greater efficiencies, greater technologies, and the ability to rehabilitate the offenders in our facilities.
To learn about some of the ways a new facility would differ from the current prison, you can go to this story on KELOLAND.com.
Now let's head over to the KELOLAND Live Doppler HD Storm Center to get a check on this morning's weather. Good morning, Scott.
All right, good morning, Perry. Good morning, everybody. Following a cold front today that can bring in shower and thunderstorms west to east across the area. Behind that front, we'll have cooler and drier air, and we are already feeling some of that in western South Dakota this morning. They've had strong northerly winds gusting into that 40-mile-per-hour range this morning, helping to bring in the cooler and drier air. 80s today in central and eastern KELOLAND as winds eventually become north to northwest. Brian will have more details on your forecast coming up.
Thank you, Scott. The Great Plains Zoo is welcoming a baby girl into their exhibit.
The newest addition to the zoo is a baby snow leopard. She was born on May 23rd.
It was so fun to watch Mom give birth, and we can watch via camera as she grows up, and it's so fun to watch. It's just the highlight of my day.
Now, a name has not yet been picked out, and the cub is not quite ready for her public debut just yet.
But you can catch sneak peeks of the cub on the Great Plains Zoo, linked to this story here on KELOLAND.com.
A longtime Sioux Falls concert promoter is taking on a new business partner.
Jared Johnson of Pepper Entertainment says he's formed a joint venture with the founders of Red Light Management, which handles some of the largest musical acts in the world.
But Johnson says the partnership won't change the Pepper brand.
Back in 2020, 21, 22, a lot of independent promoters were selling to Live Nation or bigger, corporate shops. We stayed independent and want to continue to grow. So we're still climbing the mountain.
Johnson says the partnership with Red Light will provide more resources and connections to book even more big-name acts in the future.
Thousands of people are expected to attend a Sioux Falls Music Festival, a first of its kind, today and tomorrow.
Organizers spent Thursday setting up the stage at the Lolly Cooler Music Festival. Concert goers can choose from general admission passes to a full VIP experience.
This week, we have sold thousands of tickets, and so we've been anticipating that, though, so we're ready for it, and the infrastructure here is all built out to handle several thousand people, and that's what we'll have this weekend.
Parking will not be available at Great Bear, but attendees can take a free shuttle to the event.
Pickup and drop-off locations are at Washington and Jefferson High Schools, the Denny Sanford Premier Center, and the University of Sioux Falls.
This is a look at some of our top stories.
Now let's get one last look at your weather with meteorologist Brian Karstens. Good morning, Brian.
All right, good morning. As we watch our weather today, the story here is an approaching cold front coming into western South Dakota already this morning. We've got some rain along and behind that feature. We've also had winds in Rapid City up to 40 out of the north. So watching that. That looks to be the instigator behind this marginal risk of severe weather. Again, the marginal category, low end of the scale, but we still expect a few storms could be on the strong side, and obviously we'll be paying attention to that. So here is a look at Futurecast, and we bring in your temperatures. First of all, those trends in the west are clearly down today a lot. We're not talking about those 80s and 90s. I think 70s pretty likely all day long here in Rapid City. Obviously, the rain chances will affect some of those hourly temperatures. I do want to note here, too, that in Brookings, Sioux Falls, Yankton, we're heating up just enough to add to that instability. And most of the modeling this morning is pretty good at developing at least a scattered band of thunderstorms rolling in from the northwest. So, you know, you can pick some spots along that line from O'Neill, Nebraska, Mitchell, Brookings, Marshall. That's around the dinner hours. So Sioux Falls gets entangled into some of that too during the early evenings. So that is a note of interest for many of you that have evening plans. Make sure you've got a way to catch the latest on the weather if there's lightning and thunder and those type of talking points. Good news if you got outdoor plans this weekend. We're going to clear the decks here overnight, bring in some refreshingly cooler Canadian air. You're going to feel the difference. It's going to be fabulous. The wind here out of the west-northwest, but a lot of folks will be in the upper 70s to low to mid-80s. So you couldn't paint a better picture there, but we got to get through tonight. That's the main story there. Here are the numbers. 80s, upper 80s in the southeast today, mid-70s behind the front in Rapid City with the scattered rain that's ongoing. And we do expect dry skies for most of the weekend. There is a chance that something may sneak in early Monday morning or sometime late Sunday. Reason behind that, we've got a surge of heat coming back to South Dakota. That's already going to be going on west of Sioux Falls on Sunday. And Monday, we've got Sioux Falls at 91. Pierre could hit 100 degrees at that point. And then we're probably lingering some heat into Tuesday. But then just as soon as we're hot, then we're going to go the other way. We've got Aberdeen back in the mid-70s by Wednesday and Thursday. It looks pretty likely that there will be a stormy period in there on that transition. So kind of stay tuned to details on days 5 and 6 on your 7-day forecast. As we look quickly at Pierre and Rapid City, same idea. We're going to get the heat cranking here for early next week, and then we're going to drop that with those rain chances Tuesday into Wednesday. And Rapid City, too. A lot of fluctuating weather. 70s today, near 100 by Sunday and Monday, and back to the low 70s on Wednesday. Of course, you can find out more coverage with the weather online at KELOLAND.com.